more known with Tibetan monks because they take it more seriously, I guess. It's more of a choice. They choose to speak for, or not to speak for a certain amount of time.
And just to clear it up, the Tibetan monks are actually not Buddhist. They are Tao. I think I mentioned earlier that they were Tibetan Buddhist monks. I was wrong. They are Taoist, which is the polytheistic, actually closer to agnostic, non-theistic at all. It's a very complicated religion that revolves around one's inner peace and being your own God, etc., etc., etc.
Going back to the whole people should try to not speak for an hour every day. How many people do you know that don't speak? Although I don't think you know many people who don't or practice. But how many people have you heard of that don't speak that are angry people?
As far as anybody I know that's taken a vow of silence, whether they know they have or they don't know, the vow of silence usually allows you to realize that there's so much more than the minimalistic things in your life, which usually causes a de-stressing and definitely causes one to not be as angry as easy.
Which is why I think it would be a good practice for people. Not everyone, just people who want to do it.
Of course.
To try.
How much time do we have?
Because it really lets you see the bigger picture.
13 minutes.
Let you... Shush, I'm trying to talk. Let you see further into yourself and kind of like a meditation thing. Like getting your mind in place and organizing your thoughts and your emotions and also seeing other people. Because I know that whenever I don't speak, it lets me... He gets pissed off at this when I don't speak to him when I'm upset. But it lets me figure out what I'm feeling or what I'm thinking or how to word what I want to say. And I think it is a helpful thing to practice.
So with only having about 10 minutes left, let's pick one of the next reasons and talk about it. So repentance, substitute for material sacrifice, relationship control and manipulation, political protection in statements, nonverbal communication. Which do you want to talk about?
I thought we were going to talk about the perception.
Oh, we still have several other reasons to...
Okay. Well, let's go to nonverbal communication.
You just want to do nonverbal? Okay.
Yeah.
One misconception about the vow of silence is that it effectively stops a person from communicating completely. In reality, an individual who doesn't want to talk can get ideas across quite clearly in many cases with nonverbal gestures and expressions, such as hugging someone when he's happy. Writing things down is another strategy with contemporary individuals, even using tools like email and smartphones in today's society. I mean, with as much technology as we have today, we really don't even need to talk anymore. I mean, hell, half of us don't.
I think that's another thing people should start doing, putting down their phones and technology altogether, because we have all...
We'll save that for another...
Me. Okay, I'm just making a comment.
Oh, no, I know. It's a fair point. It really is. We've become too...
Wrapped up.
We've become attached. We've become dependent. And, well, I mean... As sad as it is, we are dependent. I mean, we're recording these on technology. We're reaching out to people and sharing our stories through technology, whereas otherwise we wouldn't have been able to do it before.
I do put technology down a lot. No, you are addicted to social networking, and you know it.
That doesn't mean I don't put it down. We'll get into that later.
Okay.
But, I mean, even sign language occasionally comes into play. I've been using sign language for years, and when I don't want to talk to people, I just sign at people, and if they don't understand sign language, they usually just walk away. Although stopping speech doesn't completely cut a person off from others, he might pick a specific ways of interacting so as to maintain the intent of the vow. It is worth noting that an individual might stop talking specifically as a way to shift his ways of communicating on purpose. So if he's trying to learn sign language, maybe he'll just stop talking, so he actually has to learn sign language. Or if he's trying to fix his handwriting. I actually knew a guy that wanted to make his handwriting better, so he carried around a whiteboard and a dry erase marker, and he wouldn't talk to anybody if it wasn't written down, because he wanted to get his handwriting to the point where anybody and everybody could read it.
Was his handwriting that bad?
His handwriting was terrible. Like, it was like a doctor's signature was better than his handwriting.
That's impressive.
Yeah. But what a person can't rely on speech, what he does get across with body language, notes, or other tools often is more honest and brief. I mean, body language and tonality is 95% of what you're talking. When you're communicating with someone, 5% is the actual words.
Well, you still need the words because a lot of that stuff is miscommunicated.
Of course you still need the words. I mean, without 100%, you're never going to actually communicate, but only 5% of what you're saying is the words.
Still not true. I can communicate to you without using words at all.
Which is my point. Only 5% is the words. 95% is the tonality in which you say them and the body language you hold.
But I'm saying
you can still communicate, but you can't hold a conversation.
I don't know. I had a conversation with stickers once from Facebook.
I wouldn't call that an actual conversation, but...
It wasn't with you.
Anyway, we're getting off topic. Lacking much of the fluff and drama that often takes up unnecessary time and drains energy. With someone expecting this in an improved way, relationships and a general appreciation of the world often deepens once the vow ends. So they go through their vow of silence, they figure out new ways to talk to people without having to actually say anything. And then once their vow ends, once they go back to actually saying things, they'll usually keep those same habits that they had when they weren't talking. So we can either keep going, you can give me your opinion on this, which I do still want, or we can...
Opinion on what?
On nonverbal communications.
Well, I basically said all I need to say. I think it's a fantastic way to, or a fantastic thing to practice in small portions every day. Just because, like he just said, it helps you appreciate the world more, and appreciate more things, and humbles you, and allows you to hear more and see more, and altogether, I think it makes you probably a happier person. As we said, silent people aren't usually angry people. That's not law or rule, but for the most part, I think it's pretty true.
So, I think we're going to cut this up into a couple of days because we're just about out of time. We've got about six minutes left. Tomorrow we'll get back on and we'll... Hopefully I can get her to actually sit down with me again. And we can go into the rest of the notes I took about the...
We should have time tomorrow.
Of course we should. The perception of the vow, some of the other reasons for taking a vow, the differentiations between a private and public vow, and then just kind of cap it off with our overall opinion on the vows. So, with only having about 5 minutes left, was there anything else you wanted to say?
We were actually having a discussion about the vow of silence in my class, and some girl raised her hand and was asking a question about how these people can actually do it, how they can't talk. Like, this girl talks a lot. she is a very social person, but which explains probably why she asked this question. She couldn't understand or fathom how these people went so long without wanting to say a word, which I'm sure they did want to.
It's all a matter of having a reason higher than themselves not to.
Mm-hmm. So, I think that's something to think about, is a lot of these people take this vow of silence just to show their faith, if it's a religious reason, and show their strength if it's not a religious reason. Mostly it's a religious reason. And then there's the whole mimes who make it a job.
Yeah.
But,
So, with only having 4 minutes left, did you have any questions for me? I mean, you don't have to if you don't want to, but if you have any.
I kind of want to bring up the whole look up to thing, but we don't have time for that. But since we're recording, you have to answer.
No, I don't. Because, like I said, I'm going to do an entire og about you, and I'll get into why I look up to you in that.
Fine. Okay. Well, then, no, I have no questions other than, aren't you supposed to be working right now?
I opened about 2 minutes ago. I'll get open the shop here in a minute. So, babe, I love you. Thank you for getting on the show. Guys, it's been the Wolf. It's been great. I'll see you tomorrow.